All right, welcome to the Entrepreneur, Insider Secrets podcast. Think your voice is clear, and then you start doing this, and yeah. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about how to get your first or maybe your next 10 clients. This is something that obviously, if you're just getting started, if this is something that's new for you, this is one of the big challenges, right? Is like, how do I start getting clients? How do I start doing this? And in many ways, what ends up happening is we make it harder than it needs to be. We think we need to go through a massive launch. We need to do all these huge steps. We need to build all these big things of infrastructure around us to be able to do these things. And the truth is that you can get started with very little. You can get started with much less than that. And we're going to kind of walk through a strategy today that you can use to do that, to get started. And so I don't want you to get overwhelmed, and then one of the things that's good about once you start getting some clients, once you start getting some things going for you, is that you can start, you can start getting some cash flow in. And then when you get the cash flow in, you can start investing in some more things in your business. And if you want to have a launch and you want to do all those things, now you have some money to do it with. Now you can even hire somebody to help you or hire somebody to work on stuff with you. And so there's a lot of things in here that are just, they're things that you can do that you don't need to overthink. You don't need to make this harder than it needs to be. You can do this with very little tech, very little setup around you. You can just, do it for some very, very simple, straightforward steps. So with that being said, what is that? Well, let's break this down into 3 steps today. Let's make it pretty straightforward and easy. The first thing you got to know is you got to clarify your offer. You got to know, like, what is it that I can do for people, and make it very, very clear and very compelling. So you need to sit down and you need to figure out, like, okay, this is a problem that I see people are having. They're having struggles with this issue. This is something that is a problem for them. They're having issues over there, and I know how to solve that problem. I know how to help them with that. That is something that I can do. That is something that I am gifted at handling. So I can do that. And then you need to sit down and you need to kind of outline how this is going to work. Like, if you want to help people, like, for example, if you want to help somebody, how do I get my book published? Like, I've written a book, but I don't know how to actually go through the publishing process. And you're like, I know how to do that. And, for like, I can, like for on a call, I can go out and I can provide that service, and I can walk you through the exact process of how to take you through the publishing process. Great. Or maybe it's something health related, or something with your managing your finances and setting up a financial plan, or it can be whatever it may, anything that is relevant to you. But you need to have something, like, so when you talk to people, it's not like, oh, I can help with that. Okay, so what would that look like? Well, I don't know. Let me think about that. Because then that just shows you're not ready. When the person hears that, they go, okay, this person hasn't done this before, and they're not ready to actually help me. I'm gonna look for somebody that actually knows how to do this. It's like taking your car in to get a tire repaired, and the guy looks at it and goes, yeah, you got a flat. Yeah, I could probably fix that. Let me think about how I would do that. And you're like, no, I don't want somebody to have to think about how to do it. I want somebody that knows how to take the tire off, how to put it on the machine, how to patch it, how to put it back on the car. That they've done this many times and it's not a hard thing for them. That's the person I want. Same thing goes for you. It's like, you have to have a clear understanding of, this is what I'm going to help people with. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to help solve for them. And then you need to understand, like, okay, and this is how I'm going to do it. I know, and you can start off like, maybe it's like going to be 5 calls, and you're going to walk people through, and call number 1, I'm going to take you through and show you how to do this step. And then we'll have call number 2, and I'll take you through and show you how to do the next step, and then 3 and 4 and 5, and then you'll be done. And when you do that and you define your process and you define the outcome of how it's going to work, as the person on the other side is going, oh, that sounds great. That sounds exactly like what I need. That's perfect. That is right in line with what I need. And yeah, that makes sense to me. Because sometimes, somebody will offer to do something for you and you'll be like, what? I don't think, no, I don't think that's what I want or that's what I need. I don't even think that fits me. So you end up with these moments where you're like, no, that's not right. You don't understand what my problem is, so I'm not going to work with you because that's just not right. So I, want you to get really clear, and I want you to have that clarity and confidence on how you're going to solve the problem, because that makes you show up in a different way when you talk to people. That makes you show up in a way where you go, hey, yeah, this is exactly how I can help you with this. It's just, 3 easy steps or 5 calls or whatever it may be. I can walk you through it. This is exactly how I will do it. And at the end, this is what you will have. And define the outcome. Define that outcome very well and very clearly. And so that you're like, there it is. I can help you. And at the end of our time together, you'll have this. And that's exactly what I want. Great. This is how it could work. And then when you price whatever it is that you're doing, you price it so that the value of what you're giving, again, so many people say, well, how much can I charge? It's so much an hour. Okay, great. But the value or the price that you charge is based on the value that you provide. And the value you provide is frequently tied to the problem that you're solving. For example, if you solve cancer, that's a huge problem, and that's worth lots and lots of money for someone who can solve cancer. If you solve, how do I tie a shoe? That's a much smaller problem, and you're not going to be able to get paid that much for that, because there's plenty of freebie advice and tools out there on how to do that. So the value they provide isn't just based on some flat, well, I need X dollars an hour. Well, okay, that's fine, but what is the problem that you're solving? What is it that you're doing for someone? What are you doing to impact and improve and change their life? Because once you get clear on that, once you go out and you are very much like, yes, that's what I'm going to get, then the value of what you're providing needs to be greater than the price that you're charging. So you need to be able to go through this, and you need to be able to say, okay, great. I am going to put this out there, and I am going to be able to do these things, and this is what I can do for you. And the reality is you're going to get this huge benefit at the end, and then my fee for helping you get there is significantly smaller than the value, and yet it's still big enough to make it worthwhile for me. So that's how you learn how to price, because you're defining your pricing as like, well, if you had a $2,000 problem that I could help you solve and I charge you $500, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? It's kind of like one of those, like, hey, I can solve a big problem for you for a lot less money than what it's worth. It's one of those where you think about it this way. You have an old car. We've all been in situations in life where at times we've had an old car and it needs repairs, and you look at it and go, the amount of repairs, the amount it's going to cost me to repair this car, it's no longer worth it, because the car isn't even worth that much. I mean, it's going to be like $3,000 of repairs, and it's a $2,000 car. Why would I even bother repairing it? See, the value then gets knocked out of sync. It's no longer in alignment. But if for, a few $100s, I could take something and make it significantly more valuable, well, shoot, that's well worth the investment. That's well worth the time. So that's how you need to position your offer. You need to position your offer so that it's kind of a no-brainer, so that people look at it and go, wow, you can help me with this, and you can solve this for me. This has been a huge problem in my life, and you have a step-by-step process outlined of exactly how you're going to do this, and it's this much money, but I'm going to get this big benefit at the end. Okay, let's do it. That's when you've created a clear and compelling offer. That's when your offer is like, yeah, because now people are hearing you. You're speaking with confidence. You're speaking with clarity. You're saying, yeah, I can do that for you. And this is exactly how I'll do it. I know exactly how to solve this problem. I've done it many times. I know how to do it. I can help you. And at the end, you'll have this. And my fee to get you there is just that. And the fee is worth it for me because it's worth my time, because I'm just sharing what I already know how to do. And you're going to get this benefit because you're right now lost trying to figure out how to do this on your own. And I'm going to shortcut it for you. And I'm going to provide the answers and the solutions for you. And it's going to be a win-win for both of us. So now you have something of value. Now you have something that's a clear offer. So before you go out and try and network with people, and too many times I see this as people are out there networking with people, just trying to find somebody that's going to pay the money. Like, okay, but here's the problem. You're just fishing for money out of people's wallets, and people start to sense that. You're like, well, I could do that for you. Well, I could do that for you. Or I could do that. You just come across as desperate. But when you have a clear, defined offer and you wait, it's like waiting for your pitch in baseball. If you swing at every pitch that comes your way, you're just going to strike out all the time. But if you wait for the pitch that you know that you're looking for, when somebody says, yeah, I need help with this, then you can say, aha, that's what I do. That's what I know how to do. That's what I know how to solve. I can do that for you, and I can do it easily for you, and I can take care of it for you, and it'll be no problem. And that's when all of a sudden there's a match. That's it. But you have to have those things. And it's not that you can only have one thing. You could have 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever things, but you have to have those things clear. You have to have those things defined. You need to have those things laid out and clear and compelling, and the offer needs to be strong. So when people hear it, they're like, yep, let's do it. This makes a lot of sense. So then you can then leverage yourself into conversations with people. So the thing is that now you have something. Now you have something of value that which to offer. Now you have something that's clear and compelling that you can go out into the marketplace with, and you can offer to people to put out there for people to buy, to people to be interested in. You have something that's very much something that they're going to be wanting to do because, wow, this solves a huge problem. This is great. This is perfect for me. And so you have now, then you have the first part solved. The next part is now you need to go start finding people who would be interested in it. And there's lots of different ways that you could do this. You can go to networking groups. You can do it in person if you want. Just keep your eyes and ears open when you're talking to people. But that's going to be a lot of hit or miss. The best thing to do really is to go online and to find groups of where people that need this type of help are hanging out. Where are these people? Where are people who have these problems spending their time online? And then go become part of those groups. Go become part of those groups online, and just watch the conversations that are going back and forth. Watch the, maybe there's even live events that they're going to. Maybe you can go to one of the live events and attend one of the live events and start meeting people there. And then you start having conversations with people in the hallways, and you start meeting people, and they start going, yeah, I'm struggling with this. And they go, well, actually, I can help you with that. Boom. Right there, you can get a client really, really fast. So, and they're like, wow, that's amazing. But also you can go online and just start going online and start listening in and watching the conversations that go. And one of the best things that you can do is you might be saying, well, I don't have a big group. I don't have a big following yet. That's okay. Find someone else's big group and be helpful. Find people who are asking questions and go in and help. And if you know the answer, don't just insert yourself randomly into conversations and be a blabbermouth that's not helpful. Wait for and find conversations where it's like, oh, I can help with that. I know the answer to that. I know how to do that. I know how to solve that. I know how to, answer that question, and then answer it and be helpful. And keep doing that. Find the groups where these people are and just keep being helpful. Post answers, post responses to questions. Oh, hey, I know how to help you with that. And inevitably, what are people going to do? They're going to start saying, well, who is this person? This person's really knowledgeable. This person really knows how to do things in this area. They're really helpful. And some of them will even, start asking more about you and more about who you are and more about what you're about. And then you could be like, oh yeah, hey, I do these things. And then you can send them friend requests and start a conversation on the side, because you want to make sure that you don't, upset the people whose group it is that you're, doing this in their group. But you can start messaging them, and then you can even say, hey, I'd love to talk to you about it. You want to get on a call on Zoom sometime, and I can show you how to do this, or I can help you with that. And then you could have that conversation with people. And when you have that conversation with people, you could say, this is amazing. I helped them with this little problem. They're really grateful and helpful for that. Now let me show you, I can also do all these other things for you. That'd be amazing. Great. Okay, how do I hire you? Boom, you have a client. Or another way of doing it is, what inevitably ends up happening is you have people, when you answer questions, is like, wow, this John or Susan, man, they're so knowledgeable on this stuff. They know their stuff. And whenever you post, they're going to have your link is going to be in there for your profile. Like on Facebook, you're going to have a link back to your profile on Facebook. And so they're going to say, click on, this person's link. I want to learn more about them, because they are so knowledgeable. They're so helpful. They're so useful in this area. I'm just so impressed by how much they know. And so they click on that link, and then when they go to your profile, there should be several posts there for you. There should be several posts sitting there saying, hey, this is what I'm about, because now you're on your page. Now you're on your own profile, and you can post whatever you want there. You don't have to be abiding by the rules of someone else's group at that point. And you can have, if you're interested in learning more, click here to contact me, or do this or that. And you can have your own content there. You can have posts there. You can have pieces of information there. You can put things out there that are going to be related to what you're doing. And that's where people can learn more about you, and people can get more background on you. And you can have some social media posts. You can have some different things there that, hey, are, useful pieces of information, things that are going to be able to allow people to connect with you and be able to go, that's great. This is amazing. I love this. And so that's going to allow people other ways to learn more about you as well, and learn ways where they can reach out to you and send you a friend request. Learn how to, hey, I'd love to ask you a question, or maybe they'll respond to one of your posts, and then you can again start the conversation back and forth with them. Because when you're on your profile, you can do whatever you want for the most part. You can engage with them. You can ask them to start a conversation offline. Or whatever, you can do all those things. You don't have to worry about that. But you can start this, and you can start networking with people. And how do you do that? You just always start by providing value. Don't start with asking for a call. Don't start with, hey, I'd love to talk to you. Hey, I'd love to have a conversation with you, because we all know how that goes. People do that stuff all day long. Hey, I want to talk to you. Hey, I want to talk to you. Hey, I want to talk. I mean, this is the stuff we get on LinkedIn all the time. I just don't even accept LinkedIn requests from people I don't know anymore, because it's just endless pitches to get on calls of people I don't know. And they're not providing any value first. So always provide value first, always be helpful first, always provide something useful to them first. And then as a result of that, those people will want to engage with you. Those people will want to then learn more. But if you start with the ask, you start with the sales pitch, people are going to be like, no, you're just selling. You're just selling. No, that's because they're not ready for that yet. They're not ready to buy yet. They're still trying to figure out who you even are. And that's why all those other things, I know people that send out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of messages on LinkedIn and go nowhere. And no one responds and no one does anything, because they're just going straight to the ask. And they haven't provided any value. They're not providing any resources. They're not providing any usefulness. They're just spamming people, and the people are just putting them on complete and total ignore. And no one wants to hear from them. So these are great ways. Go and then start talking to people that you know. Start talking to people that you know. Hey, do you know of anybody that needs help with this? Do you know of anybody that could use that can be helped with this? If I did something like this, do you know of anybody that needs something like this? And just invite people to conversations, and it's no cost. It's no It's no anything. It's just simply you are inviting them to a conversation to learn more. Hey, I'd love to hear more. I'd love to learn more about what it is that you're doing. I'd love to learn more about what this is all about. Hey, maybe I can help you with a little bit about what's going on, and so on and so forth. And that all just then leads to a conversation. And then when you're in the conversation, you can invite them to work with you. So these are all things that are just amazingly powerful tools that you can use to be able to get clients. At the end, you don't need a website, you don't need a marketing funnel, you don't need ads, you don't need a big social media profile. You just need to have a great offer. You need to be able to go to where people are, find the areas where these people are congregating, and start engaging in the conversation and start being useful. And then again, when they click on your name, they go back to your profile and they start hearing more about they start reading more of your content. Like, wow, this person's really good. They're really useful. They're really interesting. And then they'll maybe even reach out to you because I want to learn more about what it is that you do, because you might be able to help me. Well, great. Let's have a conversation. Let's get started and let's talk. And then when you get on the conversation, you learn how to answer their initial question, but then you also learn how to, great, this is great. If you'd like, this is what I can do for you. I can do X, Y, and Z, and I can do all these things for you. And I actually have a program already set up for this. And here's how it works. And here's what it costs. Great. See how that all flows nicely now? Because you know what it is you can do for them. You know what your offer is. It's clear, it's concise, and you sound confident because you have it all put in place. And then you just keep putting content out. You keep putting content out and you share value in everything that you're doing because you want people to hear what it is that you're about. You want people to understand the value that you have so that when they see it, they're like, wow, this is great. And then, you can just put calls to action in there. If you'd like to learn more about what it is that we do, check us out at, here at this website, fill out a contact information. We'd love to hear from you, or message me in the comments, whatever it may be, whatever works for you in that situation. But you can then go in and you can start the conversation. You can start working with them like that. And so you do all those things. And then as part of it, on your content, start sharing client success stories, start sharing testimonials, start sharing behind the scenes things, start sharing small wins of how you're able to utilize what you've done successfully, on how you've been able to do all these things and be able to have success with all these people. And they're going, wow, you've helped a lot of people. You've helped a lot of people do the amazing things. If you can help them, maybe you can help me. That would be great. So then they're going to want to have conversations with you. They're going to want to learn more. But again, it's really not that hard. You just need to put yourself out there. You need to start having conversations. You need to start entering into the discussion and realize that, you're going to answer a lot of questions. You're going to put a lot of stuff out there. And a lot of people will just be, okay, thanks. Okay, great. You helped them. You did something useful. You did something good. You did something that was good for them, and you put yourself in a better place. But then, you know what? Good for you. But don't worry about it if they don't respond back with anything. Just be consistently going at different places and being helpful, consistently showing up, being useful, adding value, helping out with things, and then have them link back to your stuff where there's even more great content, where they realize this is a person that knows their stuff. They have good stuff out here and they have their own content out there. I should probably start to follow them a little bit more. I should start to check them out. I should probably start to learn more about what they are doing and what they're about, because this is going to be helpful and useful to me. So just to kind of recap everything, get clear on your offer, make sure it's compelling, make sure it's clear, make sure it's something that's people want. Start being helpful, inject yourself into the conversation with people and put yourself out there so people start to learn who you are. And then show up consistently with content that connects. And that will then start drawing people to you, start making invitations. Hey, if you'd like to connect with us more, great. Here's how you can do that. So here's a challenge for you. start thinking of groups, start thinking of that you can post in, that you can start becoming active in, start thinking of people that you can reach out to and connect to, start thinking of ways that you can start building relationships with people. Because you start doing that and you have a clear offer, you can start having conversations with people very quickly, and you can start getting clients quite soon. So I hope that's helpful to you. If you'd like help building this out, if you'd like help putting this together for your business, check out designlaunchgrow.com. Check out fill out an application, and we would love to have a conversation with you. So that's all I got for you today. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you again very soon.